Okay, openG center part 2, because actually in human design, emotional center is considered to be the one that brings a lot conditioning, because for open emotional people to realize that all they do is feel emotions of others and constantly conditioned by emotional waves of people and environments, that is quite a huge discovery. But as I have been talking in the past with my teacher John Martin, and I have been expressing what I feel in regards to openG center, like he kind of agreed with me. He said, you know what, I actually think like openG is even the bigger one than the open emotional, because having not fixed personalities and having possibility to adjust and adapt and have like another 1,000 faces, that's a huge one, right? So talking about openG center and its not self, which I had to unravel for myself, and I had to unpack this, because when we meet the other, they look in us almost like in a mirror, because our self is not fixed, so there is no rubbing between the two selves. The other self whom we meet when they're fixed, they're so comfortable in our presence, they feel they don't have to face the other self, and there is no tension, because mine is flexible. I can adjust, adapt, and accommodate, and that's what they feel in the beginning. They feel like, oh, you are exactly like me. Because we do have a tendency, like naturally, mechanically, to do that when we meet the other. And we adjust and adapt so much, and we discover that part. Like when I meet the other person, I see all these things inside of myself, and I'm like, ooh, so I have this part and I can be like this, and it's a self-discovery as well. But then, because it's not fixed, mine is not fixed, right? It's very, very possible I lose myself, so I kind of expand and I almost like take the other one in. And it's like so comfortable, because for the first time in life you actually feel that you are fixed, because you have that other person and you have all these qualities right now in this moment, like very vivid and obvious in you, and you feel stable. And that feels like love. And open center people, they are trying to, because they're trying to understand the self, they're trying to understand the love, and they're trying to find themselves in love. But because of the situation that I have just described, losing yourself in the other in your first 2-3 experiments most probably feels like love, because it's kind of so selfless. You do not have self, and then you feel the self of the other, and it's expanding, and you do think it's love. And then you find yourself in a place where you know exactly what the other person is, you can see them so clearly, you feel all the parts of their personality, and then you don't know anymore who you are, because all the time you have been so busy to reflect, adjust, expand, adapt, and see the other. So the result of being lost is always a way that there is a need to go back and to find yourself, reestablish yourself, find out who you exactly are. So the topic of love for openG centers and the topic of losing themselves is huge. And again, I think it's such a blessing to understand this situation with openG, and simply know that you have this tendency. Not every of these experiences and losing yourself in the other isn't actually love. Love yourself. openG is here to find out what is self-love is, how to accept all these parts that you have and that keep appearing and keep surprising you, how to accept and love them all, how to allow other people to see that I'm so multi-faced creature, that I have all these sides of me, that I have so many dimensions, and I'm fine with this. Sometimes you can have provocations, people. So who are you exactly? I remember, like now it's absolutely not a problem, but I remember when I was younger and you had to define yourself. You had to say, I'm an English teacher, or I'm a yoga teacher, or I am this, or I'm that. And I was like, oh my God, I am this and I'm that and I'm something else. And at that time it was not welcomed. It felt like you don't know exactly what you are. Maybe you are not professional because you are not fixed into just one path. I have received a lot relief in understanding, accepting, and practicing self-love and learning not to lose myself in the relationships. I do find that it's very important that you do have enough space and the right place. Actually, when you are coexisting, living with somebody else, because your room, that is your structure, your geometry is so important. It has to be correct for yourself, and you have to protect your borders, your space, your geometry in order so you keep being yourself. This is super important. As an openG, I find it absolutely unacceptable to constantly be in one room, space, or environment with another person like all the time. It has to be a bigger house, a bigger apartment where I have my space, where I go back and I can feel myself, because when I'm with the other person, I intake so much the other person. And they do change my own geometry. So I have to have the space where I get back to myself. Or it has to be like your space and my space, and we meet somewhere in between. That's also very healthy. I know it's not acceptable still for everyone. Like, people think that, only when you rub shoulders day by day, only then you're called, for example, a couple. I found out that for me, so much healthier, so much natural, to actually stick to my environment. And that was not given to me. That knowledge was not given to me. I grew up in an environment, in a family where I could hardly have my own space. And, it was normal that I'm just all the time with others. So, as well as what I can suggest to openG centers, make geometry of your space really suitable for you. You can adjust it, you can redecorate it, move the furniture around. You have to walk into the space and feel, oh, this is right. I can walk here, this place tunes me in. We are very sensitive to spaces, so when you're choosing a new apartment or place to live, walk in, check how you respond to it. Do you feel that it's yours? Do you feel it's suitable? It's so important. Don't stay in spaces that do not feel right, do not feel good. It's going to impact your life in general. And also notice when you're invited for interviews, when you're invited for meeting somebody new, what kind of place and space you meet them at, what place they choose. If it's the right person, we believe in human design that they're gonna take you to the right place. If you walk in for the meeting and the feeling of the place is right, most probably this is the right person. So you'll start paying attention and listening to them. If I'm walking in and the place just doesn't feel right, I feel awkward there, I'm not comfortable to sit, I automatically don't focus much on what the other person is telling me. It might change after a while, after a few months, the same person might invite you in the right place. So it's not forever, but just know that right now you're getting that message. Something is not right for me. Places can tell you a lot. Finding yourself in the correct places is also a very good strategy. openGs, usually they have their spots, so they have the same cafe where they're coming back. They might go to the same hotel when they're on vacation, and that's correct for them because they get back to that part of their self where, you know, they feel the most comfortable. So that should be supported. Don't try to play this game, you know, oh, I'm gonna, you know, be an interesting person and go every time to all these different places. No, if you have the spot that does it for you, be there. Maybe you like this spot is for work, that spot is for your meditation or workout, and this is the place that helps you to concentrate and study. Do follow your places and spot. I hope this information was useful and right not only for openG. I am sure even those who have fixed G, they relate to certain information that we share here.